Probemos ahora.
Danganronpa.
Parece que había la mejor. Es que lo tenía puesto para que grabara al mismo tiempo que vamos a volver a empezar esa serie y ya está. No, esa serie, donde lo había dejado. Y bueno, repito lo que había dicho antes, sí, ahora con mucho mejor, vale. Lo dicho. Asesinato en... ¿Y qué? Si tienes un bloque de botones. Parece que se me han quedado guardados los ajustes que me he puesto. Opciones. Vale. Así. Vale. Fichas personales. Nosotros somos Makoto Naegi. Asesinato de Sayaka Maizono en nuestra propia habitación porque nos había cambiado el... Porque nos había cambiado la habitación esta noche. Y también ha muerto Junko Noshima por rebelarse contra el Directo. Todo el mundo sospecha de mí, hemos hecho toda la investigación y nos toca el juicio escolar. Vale, resumen hecho así tan rápido. Vamos para ello. Vale, todo esto. ¿Estáis viendo algo o...? Vale, sí. Vale, si me estabais esperando, si me da miedo, si me estáis echando la culpa a mí, como no. Eso explica también por qué se está calentando tanto el ordenador. ¿Ves? El asesinato con la sangre rosa, púrpura, morada, como le queráis llamar. ¿Y cómo lo vas a ver ella? Bueno, a ver, ella lo sabe, pero no creo que baje un fantasma, ¿no? ¿Quién es el verdadero culpable? Pues habrá que adivinarlo.
Is everyone here? Okay then.
Maldito monokuma.
Please board the elevator in front of you, where all your fates will be decided.
Vamos, venga.
I'll meet you all down there.
Venga,
I'll be
cómodo.
waiting.
Igual hacer un poquito más, porque últimamente me doy cuenta de que cada vez es más bajito. Vamos.
Well then.
Yes, indeed.
Voy a ponerme esto, espera. Mejor así. Vale.
Hey,
Kirigiri, diciendo lo que tengo miedo.
Makoto.
Claro, a ver, recordemos que técnicamente aquí nuestro personaje, Makoto Naegi, estaba un poquito enamorado de la chica que muere, de Sayaka. Pues anda, que subir a un ascensor con las piernas aún temblando significa que te vas a caer, ¿eh? Qué bien, ascensor automático, no habéis tenido ni que pulsar el botón.
Oh,
¿Qué pasa? ¿Que está 20 kilómetros debajo del suelo? Hombre, a ver, la verdad es que te lo has montado bastante guapo en el tribunal.
Shit.
Well now. Yoo-hoo!
Bueno, encima tenemos cada uno un método. ¡Qué gracia! A ver, ¿cómo se hacía? No, ¿cuánto? Es que había una forma, creo, de... Bueno, no voy a jugármela ahora. No pueden hacer otros contactos. Hay una situación normal que haya tensión, ¿no? de la vida y de la muerte. ¿Qué te puedo, Lorca? Sí, vamos a guardar. Vale, tienes todo listo. Vamos a ver. Electroide. Oxidado de munición. ¿Me falta algo? Lo tengo todo. Vale. Habilidades. Supongo que no tengo ninguna, ¿no? Voz de oro. Vale, la activamos. Qué guay. Están preparados. Si nos podemos dar un poquito de ventaja. Vamos al juicio
Let's
escolar.
begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive
Pero si haces una
punishment.
acusación errónea,
But then I'll punish
por
everyone
esto.
besides the blackened,
Entonces,
and the
otro sale
one
la-
that deceived
la-
everyone else will.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
se supone. Si no, el juego no tiene. No sé.
Of course.
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Y alguien lo va a hacer.
Don't be a goddamn idiot.
Okay.
Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick? What's going on with...
Sí, que porque están las fotos de los cadáveres, ¿no?
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier. Friendship penetrates?
Okay, but what about that other empty seat?
Mira, de verdad.
There were
mira,
only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit
Suena
up to
mentira.
16. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First
Pero
up
es
is
que
the
gracias.
case summary. Now, let the class trial begin.
Vale. El culpable de este crimen. Entonces no solo son ellos, todos los demás por las películas. Bueno, esto ya está muerto. Un tutorial. Venga, va. En varias ocasiones le damos un debate continuo. En esta etapa los personajes hablan uno tras otro, lo que hace que el debate avance de forma automática. Si encuentras una mentira o una contradicción en lo que diga alguno de los demás, refútala con tu munición. Vale. Solo la munición de interés para el debate será recargada en tu recámara. Bien. Apunta con la retícula de pistolas con el palo analógico y dispara pulsando el botón y vale. Presta atención a las afirmaciones de los demás y destruye sus contradicciones al usar tu munición. Eso sí, si te acaba el tiempo, el debate te considera perdido, así que ten cuidado. Pues habrá que evitar meter la pata. Puedes comprobar los controles en cualquier momento durante el debate continuo si pulsas el botón Start. Perfecto. Vale. Venga. Señales de porteseo.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Vale.
Yeah, we didn't know that part already. And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
Vale.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to redeem.
Oh, casi no disparo. Me digo, vaya puso la A en lugar de la I. Ah, vale. Vale. Perfecto, lo que es, ¿no? Bueno, pero igual no es conveniente hacer el remate.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka
¿Otra vez?
Maizono. Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took
In the bathroom, so it seems like the killer must have taken her. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
Vale.
No,
Bueno, va, pero antes será el que contar.
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was
Pero
a
la
struggle.
habitación estaba bastante destrozada. O sea, se pueden ver ahí unos cuantos arañazos. Bien.
A struggle? Between who and who?
Pues ahora entre Sayaka y el
Between
asesino.
Sayaka and the
¿Eh?
killer, of course.
Que no hay que ser muy lumbrera.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Venga, sobrado.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Bien.
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
El arma homicida.
Wow,
Creo que era un
this is
cuchillo
starting to
clavado.
sound like a real trial.
Debate contigo, venga. Cuchillo de cocina, ¿ves?
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into
Que
her
no hay que ser
stomach.
muy inteligente, ¿no?
Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon.
Muy bien.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him.
No, that's
Nada.
No. I do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
Hombre,
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing. Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
muy bien. Estáis pensando, ¿eh?
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon stick, and if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us?
Este es el que más me gusta estéticamente.
I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
Y va y me atacan.
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime.
Es que yo siempre que... A ver. No.
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
A ver.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
Un momento.
You really believe that?
Vale, vamos a quitar el automático, que lo he puesto sin darme cuenta. Vale, pues como es el primer juicio escolar que tenemos, vale, pulsando el botón R. Este o este. Vale. Vale. Vamos a probarlo.
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was
Vale,
the
era
murder weapon. But where does that get us?
Perfecto.
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right?
Está
Did
bien,
it
no,
in
no.
secret.
No,
Maybe
ah,
it was in the dining room.
lo he hecho básicamente porque es que no me acordaba del botón que era.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
Well, what if I have a witness?
Un testigo. A ver.
What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier? Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
Podría haber estado escondido.
You don't think?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall, but I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this?
A
What
ver.
if the idiot swimmer girl in Mako...
Ya me he vuelto porque he equivocado el botón.
Idiot swimmer girl?
Vale, empezamos con los ataques.
Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear if there is an accomplice.
So you ask, and so I shall
Es verdad, a ver si
answer.
van a poder graduar dos.
Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing
Así
will
que-
get to graduate.
Nada de ponerse cómplices.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
But what if they did work together and they just didn't know about the rule?
Es posible porque acaban de preguntar.
Good grief! Enough already. No, okay? There are no
Claro, yo
accomplices
tiene
in
cámara por
this
todos lados y tú
case.
puedes saber.
Oops! Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife. So I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife?
Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall.
O sea que ahora van a echarle la culpa a Sajina. A ver. Un momento. Voy a quitar. Vale. Ay, ya está, perdón. ¿Qué he tocado? Un momento, como tengo el móvil aquí puesto. Vale. Vale, ahora sí. Vale. Vale, pues ya me han descartado.
No, no way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that? I can.
El ogro.
That's right! Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because,
A ver por qué.
well,
Venga, ahora que ya me quito todas las culpas, estoy más tranquilo.
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
¿En serio?
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over, which means we have airtight alibis.
Sí, bueno, pero... Vale, ha dicho Monokuma que no había
You
cómplice, así que...
stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
We're not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay
Claro,
in our
cuando
assigned
Makoto
room,
debería
so
decir, oye,
I don't think that's a problem.
que es que no se
It
saca
is a
por
problem. A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome.
But I'm a girl.
Sorpresa.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Actually, there is one other possibility. right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true. One other person did come to
Venga,
the
va,
dining
a ver
hall
quién es
while
ahora
we
el
were
culpable.
there.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Well, because they're not here anymore.
¿Un fantasma? Hola. Sí, he leído las notificaciones, tranquila.
Sayaka.
Lo cambiaremos. Lo que
She's the one who came to the
se
dining
cambiará.
hall. And then later,
Bueno, pues la muerta fue al a por el cuchillo.
I got it! Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
A mirar si les gustó o no.
That's the only possibility.
Y por eso, por seguirme.
And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen.
Antipática, ¿no?
As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
And the person
Ahora,
who took the
entonces,
knife
ayudó,
was the
dijo que
victim
iba a
herself.
poner agua.
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it?
Hombre, es una forma cómoda.
In that
Es que no es
case,
un
you
arma.
may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
What?
Vale, me vuelven a acusar. Qué raro.
See? He did do it after all.
No, you're wrong.
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction?
Bueno, yo seguiré un ratito más. Cuando me canse, después cuando termine el juicio escolar, no lo sé. Ya lo terminaré. Tampoco quiero hacer un vídeo muy largo para YouTube, porque claro, estoy presionando todos y el tiempo fueron casi 4 horas.
You possess a most
Vale,
terrifying
volvemos a seguir
talent.
hasta en el punto de mirada. A ver, en la tibia no tengo muerta, por lo debemos.
Hold on.
Pues,
It's still
perfecto.
too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say?
Gracias, Kirigiri.
Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Epifanía anagrama. Ahora veremos el tutorial. Vamos a ver qué es. El incidente. Letras conocidas y letras voladoras. Uf. Un orden correcto con el represento con la música bien. Vale, esta vez es con la... la fase de conseguir la fruta. Vale. Una E, una L. ¿Esto qué es? Ah, pelo.
Now I understand.
La verdad es que esto no he pillado cómo se hace.
That's right. There wasn't a single hair on the floor.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene...
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Hombre, menos mal.
Yes, very
Vale, o sea
true,
que no he sido
very
yo.
true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the
Esto es
same.
un soy, no soy, todo el rato.
Then, Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they...
What do you mean?
Que se cargaron la puerta, básicamente.
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
Makoto. Vale, eso es lo que rompe el culpable. Picaporte roto.
I got it! Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're...
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
Espera, ¿cómo se ha puesto?
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Sí, lo he leído. Y estoy intentando hablar más alto para ver si me escuchan. Otro debate continuo. Paso ya de debate. Bueno, igual debería haberlo visto cuando el sigue.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Ah, vale. Me he equivocado.
The incident took place
Vale,
in
ya
Makoto's
sé lo que
room.
me quería decir el...
Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her.
Vale, ahora tengo que pensarme bien.
And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
Ay, he fallado. Esta sí.
And finally, the culprit
No.
had Sayaka cornered.
To finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen.
Vale, ahí tenía que haber...
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it, we already know the answer.
A ver si me deja. Vale, sí, se repite.
The incident took place in the Sayaka was first. She then fled into the.
Then the killer ran, and they got into the back. At that point, the killer had it because Sayaka had locked.
Ahí sí. ¡Oh! Es lo más difícil.
The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck. Huh? What are you talking about? My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right.
Se lo dijo Monokuma.
Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yep, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door...
Sí, no, como que es mala suerte. Aunque en este caso salió bien.
That's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
Sí, pero es que ella me cambió la habitación.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one...
No podría haberse dado cuenta de que estaba bien.
I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was?
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms. Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka...
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their action...
Ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Con lo cual, yo soy el único que no es sospechoso de nada.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
Sí, claro. Entonces, si os equivocáis, ala, muerte para todos menos para el culpable.
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not.
Oh, as a matter of fact,
Venga,
I
va,
do have
la
one
ronda.
question.
Oh, you.
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first
He puesto un
place?
poquito de luz. Aunque no sé si notará mucho, pero...
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Ya le damos Monokuma, ¿eh?
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Ms. Maizono just...
No, that can't be it either.
¿Por qué no?
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like so... Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Vale, a ver. Vale, cambio de habitaciones, cambio de herramientas. Vale. Supongo que será el cambio de habitaciones.
I got it! Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh?
Podría ser.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
Se acaban de meter con la chica que le gusta.
I know you don't want to consider it, but look
No,
at
que le
this
gustaba,
and
porque
tell
ahora...
me. Can you still deny the possibility? I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective
Dato
shows.
totalmente importante.
When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room. Huh? Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't.
Of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature.
A ver, he podido hacer uno para que las maten y tal, pero sería muy... Yo no ganaría nada ahí.
But why?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation...
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay.
A ver. Debate contigo. ¿Estás en el tutorial o...?
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
No, that's wrong.
Puntería tope.
The nameplates on my and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as...
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right?
Se me encanta como lo dice.
Okay, then who did it?
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Claro, si lo he escrito, si no hubiese ido a la... Además que lo pone ahí.
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not...
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was, whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out. We know who did it. Whoever she invited over is the culprit.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot.
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to...
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Me tiene pinta. Estabas en la vaina.
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
A ver. Vale.
I got it.
Porque la
All you have to do is
empuñadura creo
take
que
a good
tenía
look at her broken
como una
wrist,
especie de polvito
and
de
it should
oro.
become
No sé
pretty
qué.
clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery.
Is that gold?
¿Ves?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword!
Bien,
right?
bien.
See,
Ya lo
I
has dicho, pero tú...
see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
Vale. Otro debate continuo. Va, esta vez sí que voy a ver el tutorial. Munición variada. Vale, con L, enter. Vale, recordemos que esto es tutorial. Vale, después tienes para el hoja. Vale, venga, va.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
That's
No.
what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
Vale, a ver.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away. But
¿Verdad?
then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
El golpe. Esto, el añado.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt.
Vale.
A
Ya lo
sword-based sneak attack.
Vale, creo. Vale, sí queda la vaina.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started
Why not?
because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it, like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing.
Stop jumping ahead! Slow down and explain it so...
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get
Porque se
damaged?
defendió con la vaina, o sea, la sujetó así en plan de... Y la otra tira con el cuchillo, o sea, era la otra la que quería matar a quien la mató.
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
I think I get it. So here's how
Venga, va, a ver,
out.
dime, tú, ¿qué ha pasado?
The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening.
Tiene pinta de que no, ¿eh?
So she grabbed the sword to defend herself, but then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and...
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
A ver ahora. Las palmas de sus manos. Pero
You're
fácil.
talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold, it's safe to assume, that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the
Sí,
bathroom.
claro, está huyendo de alguien que la va a matar y se para a lavarse las manos. A ver, cara con el coronavirus, vale, pero por favor.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think
¿Qué
I'm
tiene que
ugly?
ver?
No, that's not it at all.
No hay agua.
According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom...
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower.
Cocina.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big fat
Vale.
donkey.
A ver, pero es que el otro es otaku. O sea,
Hmm? I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword.
bien.
But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife...
I got it! Sayaka? She had the...
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Invita a alguien, le intenta matar, le sale mal la jugada y muere.
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own. She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in.
¿No es una cara de vampiros todos?
And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation,
Indeed. These These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms.
Lo tenía todo muy bien pensado.
Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also
Ya ha
explain
utilizado,
why
tío.
she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, but for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have...
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of
Vamos,
cutthroat.
te acaban de llamar pagafantas.
I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar.
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Vale, ahora falta lo más importante.
Just hold on. That
¿A
can't
quién
be
quería
true.
matar?
Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Hombre, no, la verdad. Todos muertos, se acaba la serie y vale, vamos a por otro juego. Pues no.
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Que lo averigües. Y pegarle un puñetazo al de al lado. ¿Seguro? Otro debate contigo. Mensaje póstumo. Vale.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
Pues aún queda una.
No,
Así
it's
vale.
wrong. There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message. Dining? Wait, what did you say?
Mensaje después de muerta.
The dying message.
Bueno,
She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037. Written in her own blood. There must be a clue about the killer hidden in there.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
Vamos a hacer un misterio. Supongo que
Left
escribía con
index
el dedo.
finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to...
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, what the heck do those numbers mean? 1, 1...
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
¿No? ¿Y qué son? A ver.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks like...
What? What?
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was what. Looking at it now, you could also read...
Whoa, you might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are...
But even if that really is an N, N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Oh my god.
Leon.
Now I see. She wrote...
Huh? You just shot past the clue part and right onto who did it. So, whose name did she write?
Iba a girar la cabeza así, pero es que no me da. León Cubata. Justamente mi personaje favorito.
Here's my answer. The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the... If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence. It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally, and as a result...
Pero a ver, si es así, pues lo más lógico es L, E, jugando con la silla, pero bueno, en fin.
When you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me.
A ver, esto es culpable, ¿qué pasa?
I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
Esta sí que lo sé. La manga de camisa.
I got it! You mean the burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
A ver, no me he fijado, pero camisa blanca lleva un poco.
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points that may reveal the truth.
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the riddles are right here.
Yeah, I think so. I got it! If you look closely at how the
Porque
shirt
si
was
recordáis,
disposed of,
lo voy a decir
you should
solamente
be
algo.
able to figure out who the killer is.
El incinerador se cierra y junto a ese trozo de manga también estaba una bola de cristal que pertenecía a los tíos. Creo que se llama. Y el león, si no recuerdo mal, era jugador de béisbol, con lo cual tira la bola con la manga enrollada o con la camisa enrollada. Vamos.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. you can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either. You'd need the key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty. So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash.
Interesting.
Bueno, él era el de al lado, el otaku, era el conserje. Otro debate continuo. Tutorial.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
Hasta ahí, sí.
So the only one who could get to the incinerator was the person in charge of the trash?
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator in order to destroy the evidence.
Aquí esto
Which means the only
politizando, pero
possible suspect is whoever had
a
the
ver si hay una
trash
pista
room
mejor.
key.
Okay, so the person who would have had the trash room, huh?
Vale, ya sé dónde va. Tendría que haberlo tirado ahí.
The key to the whoever was on.
Venga, va.
So the only one, the person.
And
You'd have to get close to the incinerator.
no, that's wrong.
Eso no es verdad.
Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator, could you?
Yes, you could. If you used this.
What is it, some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell.
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball.
But how would you use it?
Esto.
I got it! The killer
Está
simply took
clarísimo, o
aim
sea.
at the incinerator switch and threw the ball through a gap in the gate. All they had to do was hit that switch, and the incinerator would come to life.
Someone threw a gap in the gate?
Remember what you said before, Hifumi? Hifumi had the key, so the only way the incinerator could have been turned on without his knowledge was because the killer was able to hit the switch without opening the gate. Once they got in the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt and toss it in.
Hey, come on! What the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene to know that the killer never actually went inside the trash room. The shards of broken glass, the incinerator left running, the piece of shirt that escaped the fire. If the killer had been on cleaning duty, the evidence would have been taken care of much more.
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least... The pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far. Could someone really do that?
That's right. There's no way. It'd be
Difficult, absolutely. I got it! Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right, Leon?
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
Pues tienes toda la pinta, ¿eh?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for the ultimate baseball star.
You can't be serious. I'm not the killer. These goddamn shipper brains have got it all wrong, I'm telling you.
Pues se ha puesto un poco agresivo.
You still won't admit it? Okay then. Makoto, go ahead and review the incident one more time to make his crime perfectly clear. And with that, we can end this.
Listen to me! What the hell do you mean, end this?
Say what you want, Leon. But all the questions have been answered. And the truth, now here's what happened.
Vale. De derecha a izquierda. Vale. muerte comenzó cuando el culpable entró en ella. Sí. Pues parece que es esto, ¿no? Ah, que había más. Vale, entonces. Voy a ir aquí. Vale, no, me he equivocado mucho con el primero. Menos mal que hay mucho tipo. A ver, ¿qué será el lanzamiento de bola? Será este. Vale. Se ataca. Se defiende. Golpea la muñeca. Se le cae el cuchillo. Sigamos. Vale. Se esconde. Se mete en el este. Con lo cual ahora habría que buscar esto. Vale. Llega. Un momento, ¿es que? Bueno, ahora revisaremos si hay algo mal. Vale. Ella tirada ahí, ya hay sangre. Con lo cual ahora es cuando escribe, ¿no? Vale. Estoy tardando bastante, pero bueno. Hay tiempo de sobra. Vale. Esto aquí. Llegamos al incinerador. Esto aquí. Vale. Flash. Hace una bola. La lanza. Esto se cae. Y debería estar así.
Sure is you. I think I'd better take one more look back at the case from the beginning.
Vale.
Last night, the killer went to the room Sayaka was in. In other words, from what we can tell, Sayaka invited that person there and she attacked them with the knife she'd taken from the kitchen earlier.
Bien.
But then something happened that she wasn't prepared. They grabbed the fake sword I put in my room and fought back. During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's...
Uf. Vale. Ah, claro que sí, ya estaba. Vale, ahora sí.
The killer is
Wow,
you.
me vale lo que digo más.
During the struggle, a strike from the sword.
Vale.
And that's when she lost her grip on the kitchen knife. Finding herself cornered, Sayaka... The killer went after her, but couldn't get the bathroom door open. What they didn't know was that my bathroom door got stuck easily. And there was a trick Sayaka knew about that because I told her. But of course the... So instead, the killer forced the door open, took the kitchen, and stabbed Sayaka. But with what strength she had remaining, Sayaka left a dot to keep the killer from noticing. She wrote it on the wall behind her. And with that, all her strength was gone. With Sayaka dead, the killer quickly began destroying the evidence. First, they took off their shirt. Then they took the lint roller in my room and cleaned up the entire area. They wanted to make sure they got rid of any trace they'd ever been. Afterwards, the killer headed to the... They tried to burn the shirt using the incinerator there. But the trash room was blocked off by an especially sturdy gate, preventing... So they came up with a plan to use Hiro's crystal ball, which he... The killer managed to throw the ball through the gap in the gate and hit the incinerator switch. For any normal person, that'd be an impossible throw. But the killer had the confidence to take a shot. And that's because the killer was the ultimate baseball star. The crystal ball, thrown with absolute, which then quickly roared to life.
Hace una bola con la camisa y la tira. Se va pirando.
Having destroyed the final piece of evidence, but there was one thing they missed. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable evidence.
No puedo. Bueno, básicamente se pensaba que lo había dejado y se tomó la camisa. Qué lástima, que le dado demasiado rápido.
Isn't that right, Leon? It would appear that Hiro simply forgot his crystal ball in the laundry room.
Vale. Thank you.
You went there to try and wash the blood out of your shirt, and that's where you saw it, right? Seeing the ball, you thought of a way to take care of everything.
So, Leon, do you object to anything that's been said?
Do I object? Hell yes, I object! Of course I do! I object! I object! I object! I mean, all of this is just a bunch of stupid theories. You need evidence. Where's the evidence? Without evidence, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit and I refuse to acknowledge it.
Hombre, que no hay pruebas, pues te han dejado bastante claro, ¿eh?
Well then, I guess this is as good a time as any to present the evidence that proves you did it. Makoto, I believe you're in possession of that evidence.
Una batalla de gallos, ¿no? Esto pinta difícil. Los indicadores de ritmo de la parte inferior de la pantalla llegan al centro, pulsa un botón. Vale. Oh. Vamos a probar.
When the killer removed the screws from the doorknob, they didn't use anything from your room to do it. Instead, they must have used something.
I refuse to acknowledge you. You're stupid.
Stupid, stupid, stupid! Stupid, 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 stupid!
Vale. Ya sé a qué te refieres.
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking! Shut up! Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! You lied! Shut up! Where's your proof? You kidding me?
He bajado.
Not a chance! Where's your proof?
¡Ah!
This should prove it.
Vale, pensaba que había fallado, no sé por qué. Vale, no está tan bien como pensaba.
The screws on the bathroom doorknob were removed. I wonder what kind of tool the killer used to remove
Un
them.
destornillador.
I mean,
Los
it had
chicos
to be a
tienen una
screwdriver,
caja
right?
de herramientas y las chicas no me acuerdo que tenían.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the toolkits we got each had one inside.
And that must be what he used. There aren't any other tools anywhere.
But the toolkit in my room had clearly never been used.
That's because the culprit didn't know it was your room. They thought they were in Sayaka's room.
Only the boys got toolkits, so the killer naturally assumed there wouldn't be one in there.
Okay, then whose toolkit did the killer use?
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
Ya, este ya no se defiende,
It had to be their very own toolkit.
Stupid, 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 stupid!
Leon, would you mind showing us your toolkit? If I'm right about this, then the screwdriver will show some evidence of being used.
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
Huh? And if you say you used it for something else, you'll have to explain exactly when, where, and why.
And let me say this right now. I lost it isn't an excuse at this point.
Stupid! Stupid!
Pues me parece que ya está, ¿no?
So, you have no rebuttal?
Then it would seem we are finished here.
Bueno, una A, not bad. Un sobresaliente. Ah, aquí también se consiguen monitas de estas así, vale.
Looks like you've reached your verdict. Then are we ready to cast our votes? You all have a lever in front of you. Use it to make your selection. Oh, just to remind you all, make triple sure you vote for someone. You wouldn't want to be punished for... Okay, then let's get excited! Who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
A ver. Ya está, ya estaba para la miniatura del vídeo de YouTube. ¡Plam, plam, plam! Creo que ahora toca cinemática, así que vamos a dejarlo ahí. Ah, pues no. Claro, es que lo peor de todo es que este sabe todo.
Huh? Hey, hold on.
But...
You son of a bitch!
I didn't have a choice. So, that's why... None of you are any different! I was just Unlucky. That's all. Hey, come on!
Aunque creo que me voy a quedar con esta. No sé, luego decido. O incluso esta. Sí, claro, todos muertos. De verdad, el vídeo en el que todas las amigas de Sayaka están muertas. Ay.
Why? Why? No matter what happens, please always be there for me. I need you on my side.
A ver, un momento. Venga. Ya he vuelto. Vale.
Ba-bum, ba-bum. Phew!
La desesperación. Venga, va, ¿algo más?
That's enough. Calm down.
Ba-bum, ba-bum. Yes, indeed.
Punishment?
Hombre.
You mean execution? Wait a second! Yeah, that's it.
Is that okay? Do you understand?
Al final la mataste porque quisiste.
So, that's why...
Oh.
Huh? Unbelievable. Hey,
Chills! Kills! I'm begging you! Please, don't do this!
Hey, come on now.
Stop! Please!
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
No!
Let's give it everything we've got.
No!
Pues parece que te lo van a cargar, ¿no? Y ahí todos mirando.
Extreme! Well?
Damn you!
What the heck? What? Well... Hey,
Shit.
What does this mean?
Hey.
Kills! Chills! Kills!
Hey. Just a second. Makoto. Listen. It's true. However, so certainly. Anyway, right. Correct. Hey. What?
El chiste que hacía la otra. Vale, fin del capítulo 1. Pues por aquí vamos a dejar el directo. Supervivientes 12. Continuará. Mira, esto queda perfecto. Ok. Vale. Pues aquí, un poquito antes de guardar, vamos a dejar el directo. Lo voy a resubir a YouTube en cuanto pueda. Supongo que esta tarde estará. Y nada, a ver cuándo es el próximo.